Hey guys, J77 here doing another flashback review, and this one I'm just going to be talking pretty much briefly about some of the African American shows, black sitcoms that I have seen with my grandmother, with my mother, and some shows that I've seen on my own. Um, Originally, I was going to do it one show at a time, but I realized that it was somewhat going to be impossible to do, so I decided to talk about all the shows briefly in this video and just give you my feelings towards it, why these shows were had a big impact on me, why these shows were almost forgettable, and just overall feeling on how they actually have changed the culture and how very serious subject matters was brought up in TV sitcoms. I might as well start off with the one show that I really do hold dear, even to this day, and that's Sanford and Son. Sanford and Son to me was a very good show for two reasons. You had Red Fox and Damian Wilson. Their chemistry worked it perfectly together, and they never was a forced line that they did. They let it flow. They let it go. They let it all go out, and the way they were so relaxed and so comfortable in dealing out the lines were pretty much you really felt they were actually father and son, and that's what I really liked about the show. They also had a very good co-stars to help them out. They became a very good vehicle. You had Grady, you had Aunt Esther, which always was a thrill to see her on the TV screen because she always would give me one of her greatest wisecracks. And Fred Fox and LaWanda Page worked it very well together, probably more so than any other co-star could probably ask for. They really did deliver some good one-liners back to back. It was always a joy to see them on screen. Make no mistake about it, the show's strength was Red Fox and David Wilson. Those two were the main anchor, the heart and soul of the show, and that was proven after they tried to do a spin-off without one or the other. As you know, this was it prompted a couple of spin-offs. It prompted Grady, which was a one-and-done series. It also prompted Sanford Arms, which was a extremely short-lived series. I think only 7 episodes was actually seen on television, with 4 more never aired. I believe BET has the rights to them, but it was something that it was done on a bad idea to try to keep the Sanford and Son franchise alive. But without Red Fox, without Damian Wilson to carry the anchor, it was doomed to fail. And you had Sanford, which actually lasted 2 seasons, but it didn't have the same chemistry as you would with the father and son. It was not a terrible series at all, but it definitely was missing that formula that made Sanford and Son such a huge success. But nevertheless, this show is considered one of the 100 best TV sitcoms of all time. It definitely deserves it, in my opinion, and in my also opinion, is one of the shows that really, when I look at a father figure, I look at Fred a lot more than what I actually expected. He's very, very. He was one of the person who was very loudmouth, but also very kind. He loved his son. There was no question he loved his son, and some of the topics and issues they brought out reflect that very, very much. Another show that I watched more so with my mom, because my mom loved the show, was Good Times. This was a show I grew up with my mom. Every time this was on and she was watching it, if it didn't interfere with her soaps, she would watch it. It was a very, very good show. My feeling towards the show as I grew up, however, was a little bit mixed. I liked it the first couple of seasons, but as the seasons continued to wind down, I started losing interest, mainly because of one of the main characters, which is JJ. There's a very interesting history between this show, as you guys all know. The 2 main actors who played the mother and father did not like the way the character was portrayed. They made statements saying that it had a very bad stain towards African males as well as African Americans. One of the main reasons is that he was the draw. He was pretty much the reason why a lot of people was watching, and that's fine and dandy. But the one problem that I had is that they never let him grow. It wasn't until the mother, who actually left the show because of that, was asked to come back on the conditions that the character is more smarter and more intelligent, which they did, but it was already too late. The show lasted 6 seasons, and the fan base never really came back after she had left. One of the main reasons for this is they didn't have that mother figure that was pretty much the anchor to keep everything in balance. It really did miss that, and unfortunately they tried to get it back, but it was gone. But like I said, for the most part, they had some good moments. One of the best moments of the show was the introduction of Penny, which was played by Janet Jackson, and how they introduced her. I gotta tell you, was the most intense three-parter that I actually have seen, including the follow-up, because this was the first time I actually thought the character was going to die in this TV show, and it really was, and it dealt with a situation that at the time nobody really talked about it, and they really threw it out there of what child abuse was and how dangerous it is if no one don't do anything about it or keep quiet about it. And I'm actually glad they put that episode, especially with my own feeling towards some of the earlier shows who didn't take the subject matter that was trying to address seriously. This one did, and it did it very, very well. And I was very happy about this show. This show is a spin-off of Marge, which is actually a spin-off of All in the Family. The reason why I'm bringing it up because All in the Family had done a great job with spin-offs, especially two shows that is considered part of the All in the Family circle. This show here, to this day, a lot of people really do enjoy Good Times. A lot of people still reference Good Time as probably one of the top 20 or top 50 best sitcoms that came out, and it does deserve to be there. It was a huge hit. It was the last 2 seasons that pretty much won down, but whether you like JJ or not, he was a draw. Whether you like the show or not, it was a draw, and I have nothing against it. I actually did enjoy it. Right up to that last 2 seasons, I really did enjoy watching this show. I also enjoy watching the Jeffersons. The Jeffersons to me is, I consider my personal favorite out of all the shows that I was actually forced to watch with my mom and dad. This is the one show that I actually did enjoy, and that was largely because I liked it All in the Family. And it's kind of ironic that the first episode was actually in All in the Family, where they actually moved out of their house into the deluxe apartment. They met Mr. Bentley. They found out that the Weasleys lived upstairs, and from there the show just really took off. This show had one thing about this spinoff of All in the Family, as well as most of the All in the Family spinoff, they had a great job developing these characters. George Jefferson is a character that's pretty much the opposite of Archie Bunker, which made me love the character, which was played brilliantly by Sherman Hemsley, the late Sherman Hemsley. I also hate the character because of how he was biased and bigot and racist himself. I took all that in and realized that, hey, blacks is just as much racist as whites are. And I think the Jeffersons have shown that. The Jeffersons, George was pretty much like Archie Bunker, only much, much different in other ways. And I actually, for the 10 years it's been on a long time. It's one of the longest running black sitcoms that has actually aired. The show went through a lot. It went through a lot of changes, which went unnoticed, surprisingly. As you know, the Lionel situation, which a lot of people considered as the fake Lionel, which he was there for about a season and a half, and then the original Lionel came back. You also had the situation with Mr. Jefferson's mother not getting a proper send-off, which was kind of odd because it didn't dawn on me until probably like season 3, season 4 that she was selling less, and to the point where she wasn't even shown at all. They did mention her passing away, but it really was downplayed. It was very, very downplayed. But in all, the Jeffersons, I had a lot of good time watching the Jeffersons. I have a lot of good time watching George. Isabel Sanford and Sherman Hemsley had brilliant chemistry, to the point where it was almost inseparable. They did cameos together. They appeared in other guest shows. They was pretty much joined at the hip, pretty much. The last appearance I believe I saw with both of them was with Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It was in the marriage council, which was hilarious. It was like, wait a minute, where are these? They got the two main characters here. It was kind of funny. So I did enjoy it. I really did. So That was one of the shows that I consider my personal favorite with my family. I never regret seeing a single episode of The Jeffersons. It really was fun. Um, Another show that I watched but seemed to have slowly slipped out of my memory, except for a few episodes, is What's Happening. What's Happening, I never truly got invested in. The only reason why I watched it again, it was my mom's favorite. She watched it. I had to watch it. I didn't have control of the television at the time. There's only a very few Fate episodes that I admired. The Doobie Brothers episode where you have Run Run or Rerun, I believe, was supposed to sneak in a tape to record the concert. He got caught, but it turns out he was actually scammed himself. And that's pretty much the gist of it, except for the mother was strict. Dee Dee, who pretty much was the sister, got away with everything. And that's pretty much all I can get a gist of it. A lot of the shows, it was like if it was hit and miss with me, but for the most part, I did watch it. I know a lot of people loved it. Some people actually debate whether What's Happening Now, which was another show I seen, was better than this show. I don't think so. I think What's Happening still holds the edge. But to me, it was one of those shows that I seen, but I don't remember it. I just don't remember any of the major episodes that came on in that time frame. Another show that I actually watched also was a show that many people debate that is not really a black show, but I considered it was one of the '80s shows, and that's Benson. Benson is the main character of the show. He was, I believe, an assistant to the president of the United States, which was pretty much a goofball. It's a fun show. I actually did enjoy it. There were some episodes that were just, I didn't care for, but there were a lot of other episodes that I actually did enjoy. The boat mystery, which they seemed to have that theme a lot today. It was a carbon copy of the Jeffersons theme when they went to a cruise to solve a mystery just for fun. This one, they was trying to kill the president. There was also some episode of season premiere where the president wasn't too sure that he won the election. He found out that he did win for election for 4 more years, and pretty much it's centered around Benson trying to keep him in check, which was played brilliantly by Robert Guillaume, who played Benson. I don't know if he's still alive or not. If anybody knows if he's still alive, please link it down in the comment section. I'm trying to know if he's what he's doing, especially now. It's been a long, long time since I've seen his name on anything. But the show was good. I actually do like it. I consider it as pretty much a black sitcom. The main star was black, so I consider it as that. A show that I didn't care for at all. I don't know what it is about this show I didn't care for. Was Webster. Webster, for some reason, and I guess that's because I watched Different Strokes, that I didn't really get into Webster. But Webster was one of those shows that when I saw it, I thought I was watching a musical because it had Ben Marine on. Ben Marine was on that show a lot in the first season, at least the first 2 seasons. I think the 3rd season they didn't bring him back. I remember the 3rd season the apartment got burned down. They moved into a mansion-like house, which has a lot of secret compartments, and that's how I remember it last. I do know that Webster took over a room that was once belonged to a daughter who ran away. And I gotta say, that episode was kind of scary because you see somebody sit in the chair and you see the chair rocking, but you don't know what that is. You don't know if she's being held captive. It turns out it was just a doll. They also have an episode where the daughter came back, and but other than that, it's really not much I can say that kept me engaged. The theme song was alright. I actually thought the theme song was okay, but I didn't really care for nothing else after that. The show just didn't stick with me. And that's largely because, again, with Different Strokes I've seen. I think a lot of people have seen Different Strokes, and I was really into Different Strokes. It was something that I was in. My mother didn't like it. My mother didn't like it at all, especially my grandmother. But they didn't bother me watching it. So they didn't care. They was cooking dinner, and that was all they really care about. I liked it. It was good right up to the point where they started putting his new brother Sam And from there, I realized they was trying to keep that same formula, which was not working. Not to say that Sam was bad, but the jokes wasn't there no more. The jokes wasn't funny anymore. I'm supposed to accept that he's still a kid in this one, even though technically they acknowledge that he's no longer a kid. He's no longer facing Gooch. There was just a lot of strange. It was just a lot. It was a bad choice of keeping that show running the way it was. I thought they should have ended it. If you want to run with the Sam for one, probably 2 seasons, fine. But they kept dragging it on to the point where it just was. It didn't have the funk anymore. I remember seeing the show and I wasn't even laughing anymore. I will also say this: this show, in my opinion, has the poor record of dealing with very tough situations. I didn't think they did a good job at all, and they did it in multiple episodes, but I didn't feel they really did a good job. Sam got kidnapped. Their sister got kidnapped. There's a lot of kidnapping in this series, but I think there was a lot more missed than hits. And I know they had a lot of specials, a PTA special, I like to call it, but I didn't think they handled it well. I really didn't. But for the most part, the stuff that did work, like the comedy, I thought they did fine. I thought they did very, very good. And again, it's kind of sad that how those actors and actresses like the late DePoto, end up. It's very, very sad. No one with the father pretty much came out better after the show was done. But it's really is sad how that show surprisingly have tore them apart, and I'm still mind-boggling. And I will never forget what Gary Coleman said in one of his interviews. That he said this business is not for kids, and do not have your kids grow up in this business. It was something that was telling enough. That was very, very telling, very chilling, because he really that came from his soul. You see the resentment he had and what it done to him as well as his co-stars, and it's very, very sad how that ended up. Another show that I grew up, I think everybody grew up with this show, Black and White. That's the Cosby Show. And in my opinion, the Cosby Show pretty much changed a lot of things. This was pretty much a middle-class family. The Huxtables, Bill Cosby plays a doctor. And this show, I think until the last 3 seasons, was very, very good. This show I really did admire, did respect. I loved how they handled their situations with their daughters, how they handled situations when it came to their son. I have nothing but high praise. It's very one of those shows that me describing how I felt about the show, you really gotta look at the show and see for yourself just how good this show really was. And I will tell you this, I liked it how they ended the show as well. I think this is one of the best finales because, as you all know, this show, if you look at it, really revolves around Theo Huxtable. This was a show that was pretty much, it started with him, and it actually ended with him. It even had a flashback with one of the early episodes and how he was talking about, how he was going to get an apartment, and how he's going to do this, how he's going to do that, and his father was teaching him in his own style, brilliantly. It was brilliantly done, by the way, on how things cost money and how much he needs to understand that you need to understand that once you get a check, money that you thought you had ain't actually there, because you need to buy food, you need to buy clothes, you need to pay for gas, you need to pay for taxes. And it was a very, very well done part of that show. It really was the one that actually got me, this is interesting, I want to see it. I want to see how they do. And I'm actually happy that it actually ended with them and with them walking out of the stage. There wasn't no grand finale like you normally see where everybody comes in and say goodbye. They actually walked out the stage and you see the crowd and it was clapping. It was actually pretty good. This show is one of the best. It deserves to be there. You can make a case that it overstayed its welcome. They even make fun of that in a lot of cartoon shows, how he kept bringing on these kids out of nowhere, and man, that was largely because his movies career, Bill Cosby, which is the only thing I think that Bill Cosby is not good for. It was not very good. His last film, Ghost Dad, did not do well at all. I had the unfortunate to see that film, and I believe Animaniacs had made fun of that, where they basically, did a parody of the Cosbys, and he said, "I got to keep this show going because my movie career's in the gutter." It was kind of humorous, but in all, the show for the most part still hang in there. He still did his job, and they also prompted a spinoff, which I will say right now, I was surprised that lasted as long as it did, and that was A Different World. The reason why I was surprised it lasted long because Denise Hustable was only there for, I believe, about 2 seasons before she was written off. And that was not, it was largely from a controversy. I don't know how true this is, but from I'm hearing from a lot of people, this was a decision that Cosby made on a movie she starred in with Mickey Rourke. It was a very graphic sex scene that she was in, and Bill Cosby didn't felt that was appropriate. Mind you, she was like 18, 19 at the time when she did that scene, and Cosby felt that she cannot have her as the star of the show, especially after that movie. This was a very big deal for Bill Cosby, and he still run the shots, even though he was not the star of Different World. He actually had a lot of pull of what went on with that show, and she pulled, and from what I understand, had pulled her away from the show. Now, normally when you have a main star pulled from the show dies out. This show actually stepped up. I mean, this show actually stepped up with the stars they had, and it just showed the show. It probably was a blessing that she wasn't there, not because of the circumstances there, but because you have other stars who was able to shine, and they did. I actually watched this show more and more during the later seasons. I watched during the finale. I watched it during the middle period where they was really dealing with a lot of issues that I actually thought was well done in terms of people dealing with colleges and other social issues. But most importantly, it was a good show because it showed that a different light to college that we didn't really see too much. We saw we saw it with some colleges, but we didn't see how colleges actually went down and how colleges are actually made, especially black colleges. So I actually did enjoy seeing a different twist than just seeing everybody partying over time and getting in trouble. They really handled it well, and that's was because Cosby made sure that all that crap we've seen in movies like Animal House, which, by the way, is a good movie. Don't think I'm bashing on Animal House, but all the stuff that you normally would see in films, but college movies, he didn't put it in the TV show, and it really stayed fresh. You had some good actors. Even Sinbad was good, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching Different World. On the Different World with some of the other stuff. Martin, I consider the show that didn't take itself seriously, and thank God it didn't. It was funny. I enjoy it. I do not regret seeing it. I wish the show would have lasted longer if it wasn't for some of the incidents that happened on the set. But in any case, Martin Lawrence, yeah, is a fun show. I liked it. I think one of my best episodes is when Gina and Martin got married. That was a show that was probably one of the better ones. Also, the one where he became, I think, a monk and trying to find enlightenment. But that was because of the radio station that he once wore got rid of him. They became pretty much country. And so that what happened, and now, and that was pretty much one of the gist of it. He became more and more, more and more popular, as with me at least, as I kept watching it. Again, I wish the show would have lasted a little longer, but circumstances that were involved with the cast didn't happen. But it was still good. I enjoy it. I don't regret watching it. The show Rock. I don't remember that many episodes. I know they had some episodes early on. It was threatened to be canceled. Uh, the show that went live, it was okay, but I really wasn't that. It came and went. It didn't stay with me, and that's kind of sad because the guy who played Rock actually had a very interesting history. He overcame a lot of barriers, especially the stuff that he had to go through, the stuff that he had under his jacket, and the fact that he the fact that he was able to overcome that is a story within itself. I just wish the show would have lasted longer and kept my interest. But I really did respect that the actor is pursuing his goals and not letting what has happened in the past get to him. If anything else, that was one of the main reasons why I watch it. Live in Color. This is a show that I really did enjoy. Really did. At least with the when the Wayans brother was running things, I thought they were hilarious. And then when the Wayans brothers left, the show to me lost a lot of steam. I mean, the show lasted a few more years, but it never really gained that kind of momentum again with me. Not at least, not with the way it was when the Wayans brothers was there. I thought the Wayans brothers were the heart and soul of the show, and once they was gone, there was hardly any other reason other than Jim Carrey to actually watch the show. That's just how I felt about it. So the first half of their lifespan, I enjoy very much. The second half, not so much. Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx wasn't Living Color, but I really followed him when he had his own show. That was when WB was still fresh and new, still trying to start new things. And I really did enjoy the Jamie Foxx show. I really did. He was a hotel manager, but he was funny. There was some good scenes with him. The cast was very good. They actually clicked very well, and I actually did enjoy seeing him. I have no complaints. I don't remember they actually gave it a good finale, and this is one thing that was bothering me. Not only with this show, but the couple other shows I'm going to bring briefly. For some reason, when their shows were about to be canceled, or they know they're about to cancel it, they don't give it the proper finale that they come to expect. A lot of shows have, I noticed they did that a lot. I think Parenthood was the only one that actually gave a grand finale, and I didn't think Parenthood was all that great, but it was all right. It wasn't bad, but it was not all that great. I don't remember. I don't remember that show doing that. I know they went. I know that he finally got together with his co-worker, and that's pretty much it. That's the only thing I remember seeing. But in terms of that, I don't remember the grand finale. That's the same thing with the Wayans brothers. Wayans brothers had their show, and they made it known they was pissed off they didn't get a finale. It lasted pretty good, pretty much good 3-4 seasons, and then gone. It was just gone. I was like, wow, they just gotten rid of it. They had a lot of good actors there, a lot of good actors, and they had a lot of funny moments. I wish the show would have had a finale, give the fans what they a finale what they deserve. But I liked the Wayans Brothers. The Wayans Brothers was good. I believe it was one of the original shows that was starting out doing the WB. And to me, it's a shame that they didn't give it the proper thank you the way they did probably with some of the other shows. Another show, Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey's show was off and on. It was okay when it was on for a while, but then I just started to lose interest. Probably down to the last season. I just didn't really care for it. It's one of those shows. He was a high school teacher. They had one of the girls from All That in there, but other than that, I didn't really. I mean, it had some fun moments, but that's it. Just fun moments. That's all I gotta say with that one. Marisha, Brandy's show. Brandy's show was pretty good. I actually liked it. UPN was really one of the networks that was really trying to get the black demographics. They had a lot of shows. Some didn't last long. Some lasted pretty good time. Most of the female shows actually had a longer life than the male shows. It's kind of ironic how that happens. But Marisha was one of them. It was a good show. I actually liked it. Did not see the last episode, but I remember most of the episode. It was very good. I liked it how Brandy performance in the show, and it really is one of the better shows that came out, especially when black shows was pretty much tapering off. It was not too many black shows being shown on network during that time period. The spinoff was even good. I actually liked the spinoff, The Parkers. I really did enjoy it. I liked it Monique as I liked the Monique in that show. I liked it her daughter, which was actually has some of the good fun moments. And people still debates of whether or not the Parkers or Marisha, which one is better. I don't really try to compare, but I liked it both. I thought both was very good. You had a good show and you had an even better spinoff. Something that uh, that you don't have too often with shows. In fact, a lot of shows don't do spinoffs anymore, which is kind of ironic. Um, the last show I think I seen in memory. Besides, no, I'm sorry, not the last show. It was the last show that I actually seen before seeing House of Pain. I'll talk about that in a minute. Um, Ren and Meth, and I think it was a comedy on Fox, and I hated that show. That show didn't last, I think, 4 episodes. God, did I hate that show. I was actually debating whether to do an actual flashback review with this alone. But needless to say, it was a stereotype that I really gotten sick and tired seeing in movies, and they tried to hear, and every time it just don't work. All you're doing is offending not only the blacks but the whites as well when you do stuff like this. And what I mean is, typical, black guy move into a white neighborhood, the son sees it, they hear the music, all of a sudden the son wants to be a rapper, he's doing things that. People don't do that. People don't just change like that. And the fact they keep throwing that same line in, it's annoying and offensive in my opinion. Plus, it wasn't even funny. That's basically all I'm going to say about that. At least one thing I will say before I move away on that. At least Redman and Method Man acknowledges that this was not a good idea, and they wish they could have done better with that show. They admitted that, and I do respect them for that because it really was a bad show. It really, really was. Moving on to the House of Pain. This is when I found out Tyler Perry, when he was actually really starting to expand his empire. He had a TV show, House of Pain, which was, I didn't know what to think of it. I didn't know what it was. I found out it was a comedy. I pretty much saw almost every episode of the first season. And I gotta tell you, the first episode when I saw it, I wasn't into it. I didn't find anything that funny. It took a very while to get into. But when I saw the second episode and see where it was about to go, because they did show the episode back to back, which is a good thing. Because if they just let me watch one episode, I would not have come back. But when I saw the second episode, I was hooked for a reason. There was a storyline that was going on. There was an ongoing storyline, and that was the mother was addicted to drugs and how the drugs was affecting the family as a whole. And it was a very very big storyline. They actually ran it the whole first season, and I actually did enjoy how they did it. I actually thought they did it good. Were there some hit and miss in terms of comedy? Yes, a lot of hits and also a lot of miss depending on the episode. But for the most part, I don't regret seeing it. It was actually a well reviewed, well watched show, and for reasons that it was. It dealt with subject matters, but it didn't do it to the point where you was turned off by it. And I thought the show, for the most part, was pretty good. I don't regret seeing it. I wish the comedy was better polished, but for the most part, the actors that was in there, including Rudy herself, did a good job. I thought the performances they did was very good. Again, the comedy was just hit and miss to me. That was it. So that's just about the gist of it. There's a lot of shows, of course, that I have missed, and for logical reasons. I have seen Girlfriends, but not seen Girlfriend. I think I've seen 2 episodes of Girlfriends. So I can't really give you my full gist of it if I haven't seen at least one season. I did not see Half and Half. I didn't, so I can't really say what that's all about. New York Undercover is a drama. I wanted to stay with TV sitcoms, so that's why I didn't touch that. Uh, I wanted to stick with the sitcoms. The drama I will probably talk about because there's a lot of interesting tidbits I liked about the show, a lot of stuff I didn't like about the show. But I wanted to keep it more on sitcom, and these are the most of sitcoms I talked about. There's a lot of sitcoms I didn't mention, and there's a good reason. They're either so forgettable that I don't even remember what the first episode was. Two, I just didn't see it. So if I didn't talk about the sitcom that you probably are surprised I didn't mention, that's because of that reason. I didn't see it, or there's not enough episodes I've saw, or just don't remember it that I can't really talk about it. So that's the reason why I didn't mention it. Um, but the most part, the stuff I did mention, most people have seen, most people have fond memories of, and most people have a pretty much list of where they rate them as the top five black TV shows or sitcoms um, on their list. To me, I have to put Bill Cosby as one, and Sanford Son in second, along with the Jeffersons third. Those are the three. Those are the top three in my list that deserve to be up there. That's the overall. As for overall sitcom itself, I really have to sit down from that. Needless to say, it is on the family that probably is in the top five, if not number one list. But that's a story for a different time. For me, these were the shows that really did influence me. They influenced me in how they deal with social issues and how they was not afraid to cross that line to get a point across. The Jeffersons did a great job with that. The Sanfords did a great job with that. Shows like the Cosby Show and different. Well, they showed a picture of African Americans who are not drug dealers, who are not gang bangers, but people holding out good jobs, living well, raising a family, as well as their children going off to college and trying to make something of themselves. You have fun comedy like The Martin, which was funny, entertaining, and was just meant for a good laugh, as well as In Living Color with their skits. They were wonderfully done, well handled, at least for the first half anyway. They were very, very good. Shows that really impact me in a negative way. I always said that Ren and Meth, it was not my favorite show because of the stereotype, and that actually hurt in a lot of black shows more so than anything else. And that's one of the main things that really, really bothered me. But shows like Marisha and shows like The Parkers was a big hit for the female demographic and for the rightfully so. It was a very good show. The female demographic ate it up, and it deserved a lot of credit for it. So these are the shows that really did impact me, and also impacted the way television viewed these shows when it was on. So hopefully we can see some shows similar to these make a comeback into television, or pretty much cable if you prefer. But for the most part, these are the shows that really deserve my hats off, especially in Black History Month. They deserve at least some honorable mentionings. So that's pretty much it, guys. This is J77 saying take care, be safe. I'll be back with my usual flashback reviews back on the movie fold. But until then, take care. I'll talk to you soon.